Welcome to the City Council meeting. If you are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Sandy, can we get a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers.
Here.
Councilmember Ellenboss.
Present.
Ingalls.
Here.
King.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Will someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support?
Councilmember Ellenboss.
Yes.
Ingalls.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. So now it's time for public comments. Before we begin, I want to let everybody know that that you have 3 minutes to speak. Please use the sign-up sheet there, put your name and address and stuff. We need that for our records. Make sure you do that. Also, I would ask that people in the gallery please refrain from cheers or jeers during public comment. This is not something that encourages discourse. This discourages it. When we jeer at people for giving their thoughts, we dissuade others from speaking. Even when we cheer for certain people, we discourage others from speaking. So I would ask that we treat each other as neighbors this evening. Even if we're not friends, we are neighbors. And I would ask that you give your respect to every single person who would like to speak this evening without comment and without, as I said, cheers or jeers. Let's make this a civil discourse tonight and move forward together, okay? So having said that, if that happens, I will gavel and stop it. And just so you know, I'm going to enforce that request. So please, let's be kind. Okay, so public comment.
Good evening, Mark Lagerway. As I indicated in a letter I sent to you, I really think that it behooves you to appoint T.I. Shippers as the mayor. She is the longest serving individual here tonight on the council. For 15 years. She's also been the pro tem for 6 years, and she's the only person you're considering tonight who has been elected to this council. Keep that in mind. That's an important thing. The people elected her. And also she has the temperament and the experience to really guide this council at an important time. So I hope you would consider that. Thank you.
You can go ahead if you want. I don't care. Good evening, Sam Knop, Cadillac. So, good evening, council. In a few minutes, you're going to make a motion to appoint a new mayor until the upcoming election. I would like to share the results with you of something I did out of my own time. So when you leave the Army, you go through a lot of classes, you meet a lot of hiring managers, and I have about 7 of them that I can reach out and lean on, and I did just that. So I redacted the letters of interest and the resumes that were posted on the website. There was no way that they could identify what city. They don't know where I live. All my stuff says Alaska still for the most part, so they have no idea that I'm back in Cadillac. 3 of them reside in the nation's capital, 1 of them resides in Alaska, and 1 of them resides in the state of New York. After reviewing everything, the results were as follows. If they were to choose between the 4 that were posted on the website, Dr. Martin, I'm not going to try and say his last name because I butcher it every time. So Dr. Martin received 80% of the hiring votes of confidence. Councilmember Shippers received 20% or 1. Second was a tie between Mr. Marine and Councilmember Shippers at 40% each. And the outlying 20% was received for Dr. Martin. Third across the board was again split. Councilmember Shippers, you received 40, and Mr. Marine received 60. Mr. Van Alst received 100% fourth between the five. The feedback that was received from the hiring managers after reviewing everything, they chose Dr. Martin over the professional appearance of his resume and the qualifications listed therein. Mr. Marine and Councilmember Shippers were split with the 40%. They favored Mr. Marine for the appearance of the resume versus the letter of interest submitted by Councilmember Shippers. They went on to compare Councilmember Shippers and Mr. Van Alst's letters, and the comments reflected that the hiring managers were not in favor of the format that was submitted, and they were not as strong as the previous two candidates. So with that information, do what you will, but again, in a few moments, you're going to make a very critical decision, and the city is watching. Again, it's not easy doing what you guys do. You know, you're asked to do a lot. Yes, she was elected to this council, but I think you have a chance to set this right and set this right for the election coming up in November, because if not, the city's watching, the residents are watching, and if it goes bad for the next 6-7 months, like I said last month, you know, your seats might be on the line, your resignations might be wanted at that point by a lot more than just certain people. And that's not, you know, that's not an attack, that's being honest and straightforward, right? So I hope that you guys do the right thing with what I've said, with what you've heard from the community.
Thank you. That's your time.
Yep.
Sorry for not filling this out in advance.
You're good.
Thank you for your time. So I had taken the time to read through all of the resumes, and it was clear to me that T.I. Shippers has the most experience. She's the current pro tem, and you know, none of the other people have, you know, served in this capacity. In my opinion, it doesn't, a candidate is not necessarily chosen because of what format they used for their resume. I think what speaks is the content that's in the resume. And again, in my opinion, that T.I. Shippers has the most experience to be able to serve in this position until the next election. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Hi, Ruth Ann French, 119 Marble Street. Thank you for letting me speak. I too am here in support of T.I. Shippers because of, as everyone has said, her experience on the council. This is a unique job that you four people have, and it requires a lot of leadership skills, a lot of collaboration, and I think T.I., with her own work experience as a teacher, and also this isn't the only community service work she does. She's done, has been the chair on different boards within our community. So her leadership skills and her ability to collaborate with a team is an important thing. And the whole team approach made me think, you know, what if Dan Campbell in the middle in the at a important Lions game, all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, had the quarterback have to go sit on the bench because he was sick, And now he's got the chance to put somebody in as quarterback. And what does he decide to do? Does he want to pick one of the alternates he's got on the team? No. Somebody told him, well, there's this guy, he's got some college experience. And I think he was a quarterback in high school. Let's put him out there on the field and see if he can bring the solution to this game, the conclusion to this game in a good way. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me with all of the challenges that we have before us, before you all, who have to make policy and make decisions, that you would bring somebody new in to the bench, not even from the bench, but from the outside to help us resolve these issues. So I just would like you to take that into account, that it would probably be best to work through at least these next 8 months till we get to November, and then we can open the mayor's seat back up for re-election. And if any of the 3 external candidates here would like to run for mayor, then that would be a perfect time for them to do that. And in the meantime, we've got unfinished business in this term that I think TI brings experience and knowledge and the highest good for our community to be able to resolve some of these issues. So thank you, and thank you all for your service.
I had shoulder surgery the other day, so I got to take my time here.
We have a lot of the walking wounded in this room.
I know. And then I got to follow that football analogy, and that's not fair. And no laughing, she said so.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So I'm Brad Marine. It doesn't matter to me actually who you select, to be honest with you, because it's all about you as a board being effective and being responsive to the community. And I know there's been a lot of pushback already on a invalid informal survey, whether it's valid or not. And I'm here to tell you, it's not a valid survey. It's an informal survey. But the whole idea was to get a pulse. And if the pulse is racing really fast, then that's something you really probably want to dig deeper into, and that would be the opportunity to do a formal kind of survey. But we still have some pressing issues, and I think this is what the community, and it's unfortunate we got sidetracked with you having to pick a new mayor and took away from the focus, because we're still, 6 months out, and we still don't have a city manager review done yet. And we've got some pressing issues. I've got questions in regards to, I spent 45 minutes on the phone with the EPA this morning. And they said, from 2020 till now, the LDFA has been out of compliance. They've been in non-compliance. Well, Marcus is in charge of the LDFA. And so I would like to know, does that reflect in his performance review? And what your thoughts are on that? You've got a 2017 water asset management plan that you probably spent some good money with an engineering firm to write this thing up. I mean, it's almost 60 pages. It was supposed to be updated in 2022, and it still has not been updated. That's my concern. That's what I want to know. Is that reflected in the performance evaluation? You've got a city manager who consulted with the city attorney to suppress PFAS testing counter to what the EPA recommended in 2020. And I understand that the board was not aware of that until 2024, that there were positive tests in the wells. Is that reflected in a performance review? So those are the concerns. I'm not concerned about who you pick for mayor. I got a sailboat plan. So, I want to see you as a board be effective. And I really would like to see you dig deeper and try to understand why the community is so frustrated with you. It's not a personality thing. I don't hold grudges. It's not me against them. It's not bashing the board. It's questioning government. That's government 101. They teach that in 9th grade. So I hope you don't take that as unruly discourse. Discourse, yes, but good discourse. It needs to be there. And like I said, we've got questions. And I would hope that you have questions regarding your effectiveness, because there's a number of us in the community who are struggling with that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council. Everybody, Randy Lindell, 201 Howard Cadillac. One moment, bear with me before my time starts. Boy, am I shaking. Jeez, oh, Pete. Okay, I'm here tonight. I don't think experience such as what they said about TI. I'm putting my support to Dr. Martin Dubravik. I believe he would be the right choice as mayor, even though she's been here experience-wise. You know, it's just like Marcus coming in brand new. As a matter of fact, it's been almost 10 years now since I've been kicked out of the meeting. Marcus asked me to leave. And I, as a gentleman and a nice guy that I am, I left peacefully. But I support Dr. Martin. I hope the council does too. And there's a lot of other issues I want to talk about, such as the rezoning of West Nelson Street, etc., sidewalk snow removal, etc. I appreciate what everybody's doing. I know it's been a tough winter, etc., etc. So anyways, and another thing we have not addressed, and we started it last year, was off-street parking. We never got there. But anyways, I just want to say those are a couple of things I wanted to mention. We got a couple of ordinances. And on these ordinances, I've been told, Randy, we do this for a reason. Well, we're relaxing them. And now today we relaxed them many years ago. And now today we're facing this PFAS situation because we relaxed regulations. And now we're going to be doing it again. We're going to relax regulations towards ordinances, and things are going to happen down the road by allowing these relaxed ordinances to happen in 20, 30 years. And we've seen it happen many times before. So anyways, those are a few things I want to talk about. I know we're going to be getting into the budget real soon. Between the city and county, they received over $170,000 for marijuana tax. What are we doing with all that money, you know? The citizens should be benefiting by it. I just wanted to bring that up. And then just one last quick thing. Last night I drove by the old Willows, the Primos barbecue, and they got a new light system, and it's right on the road. And it blinds you. I can't believe it. Now, I know McDonald's, Burger King, and all them are recognizable signs. But, you know, I'm not being facetious, but I want to say, you know, there's a lot of people that got these flashing signs, like, but I'm going to say the most legible and readable sign of all places is Kaz's 8-Ball Lounge. I'm serious. You could read it.
Thank you.
But I drove down the street last night and it blinded me. I couldn't even see the street lights.
Thank you, Randy, that's your
Time's up,
time.
Randy.
No laughing. You gotta laugh. Okay.
Good evening, Art Stevens. First of all, thank you to all of you for your service, because this is not an easy spot to be in. We understand that. It is interesting, though, that our community now, and I've been talking about this as meetings have gone on, there needs to be a time to heal. There needs to be a time to unite. And, I mean, I'll call a spade a spade. You know the tie. People say, Bill Barnett, what name did you hear next? I was the one. They said, you can't move forward. Bill's too divisive, whatever, and Art, you're tied in. Sometimes we need a new leader to step out and be leading. Unfortunately, there's that same tie that we have with the past mayor and the mayor pro tem. At this time, maybe we need new leadership. It doesn't take anybody's seat away. It doesn't take someone to remove them off the council. They're still here. but it gives an opportunity to look as a whole and to really say, we got to have a new direction. Things are not going smooth right now. Put somebody new in. I understand that sports analogy. You can look on it. Sometimes they do take somebody off the sideline and not someone that's already on the field. A lot of our football, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Steve Young, a lot of Hall of Famers, that's how they started, is they got a chance to lead. This gives a chance to bring somebody else in to do the leading. You have the experience, and I do agree that just because someone, that's how they start. Just because somebody doesn't have experience doesn't mean that they can't do it. So I ask, if anything, that we unite. I know there's been a lot I don't get in the social Facebooks and all that, but you see the attacks on people that are just volunteering, that want to help our community. They're just asking to serve. It's about servitude, and we get personal attacks on them. And anybody that doesn't, that says that's okay, it's wrong. So I do think we need a new face there, help bring our community in with a new leadership. Thank you.
No.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I also think that we need a new face as our mayor. I think that someone that everyone can trust, everyone can believe in, and also someone who has a large concern about public health, like a doctor would. And my support definitely goes to Dr. Dubravik, and I really hope that we choose him moving forward. I just really, especially with that health piece, I've heard he's an amazing leader, a great communicator, and I just think that we definitely need someone fresh. That's pretty much it.
Is that it? Okay. Nobody else? Okay, seeing nobody else, I'm going to close public comments and just thank everybody for your excellent behavior. Thank you so much. Okay, now we need to appoint the mayor. And from what I understand, here's what the process will be. Not what I understand. This is what the process will be in order to, this is the legal process. So what will happen is we have 4 nominees. We have 4 candidates already. So the way it will work is one of us will make a motion to appoint whoever it is they would like to appoint. And it will need to be supported by somebody else. And then we will have a roll call vote. And we will do that until such time as someone emerges as the person.
Roll call vote means show of hands.
No, not show of hands. Sandy will call our names and we will say yes or no.
Okay, very good. Like the Pope.
Like a pope. Oh, no, my God. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. Having said that, if anyone would like to make a motion, please do now.
Operate in, Robert.
I will make a motion, I guess. I mean, these have been the most thoughtful 2 weeks I've had in the time that I've been on council. You know, I've heard from supporters of all the candidates. You guys all have your own supporters. And there are a lot of people in town who are impressed and supportive of all 4 of you. I think it's we've had years where no one ran against the mayor, where no one ran for a council seat, that, you know, people run unopposed. So it's nice to see participation, but it's also nice to see participation from such a high level of candidates. You know, I've heard the people who've come out tonight, you know, to passionately support their candidates. And I don't think, you know, that I know better than the people of Cadillac. Most of the time that's not always easy to know what the people are thinking. But I think in this case, with Councilmember Shippers, the city has elected her again and again multiple times. This council has elected her mayor pro tem. I think electing Councilmember Shippers, if I can ask you publicly, if this council selects you as mayor, do you plan on running again in November?
No, I do not.
You know, I think that's an ideal situation to have. And I guess at that point, I'll start off with my first motion to appoint Councilmember Shippers as mayor.
You gotta do that.
And I'll support that.
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers,
Yes?
Ellenboss.
No.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion. Again, we're all trying to get where the city is being effective. I like that verbiage, and I do think it's going to take someone with a new perspective, with each of us, the others of us remaining in our council seat, and bringing on someone else new to deal with the challenges that have caused us problems up to this point. And I think that Dr. Martin Dubravik is the person that brings those skills, talents, and personality to help us, the four remaining, achieve that. And therefore, that would be my motion.
I'll second it.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers,
No?
Councilmember Ellenboss,
Yes.
Councilmember Ingalls.
No.
Back to square one. Your turn.
How about you? Do you have something you'd like to?
No, I think you covered it all. We have excellent candidates. It was a difficult pick.
Yeah, I'll because people have stepped out and offered their support to the city, I'll make the motion to consider Mr. Brad Marine to be mayor as that person to fill the void. Okay. And then finally, because I again appreciate Mr. Van Oltz for saying he will step up and help the community in trying to get a fourth person in here, or fifth person in here, to help us do what we need to do and settle this tonight, I would nominate Andy Van Oltz.
I'm going to reiterate too, I think Brad and Andy and Martin, I evaluated not just your resume. I think Brad was the candidate that I knew the least. Your resume was certainly very impressive. I look forward to getting to know you more. I'm familiar with Martin here at the podium, his views of the city. I've spent a lot of time with Andy in the last year and a half, and I think they will all be fine candidates running in November. But I think, again, we have an opportunity with a sitting council member who's been elected multiple times, who's not running again. It gives us the opportunity not to be kingmakers, not to pick somebody for an elected position, and to me that makes sense. So I am going to make another motion for Councilmember Shippers to be appointed mayor.
You gotta do it.
And I will support that.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers,
Yes.
Councilmember Ellenboss,
No.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King.
No. With that, I am going to make a motion again to renominate Dr. Dubravik. I'd point out to all of council, if Ms. Shippers leaves her second ward seat, we still have to fill that seat. There's gonna be someone new on this council. And therefore, I think the best way for us to move forward effectively and to deal with the hard issues that we had is to bring in a business leader, not only owns a business, a medical practice, has developed the properties that he owns, who's been involved in the historical district and many other community activities, is the best way to get 5 of us with the most experience and not have to then look toward 2 for someone who's brand new.
I'd second that.
Councilmember Allenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
No.
King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers.
No.
I'd like to take a minute and apologize to everybody. This is a flawed process. I think we all agree that an election or just having the mayor pro tem automatically step into this seat. An election would have been better. We did not have enough time to run one, apparently. Okay, I'm looking at the woman that runs our elections. I wanted to, when I came here, wanted to avoid things like this. I worked for the city for 13 years, and I'm probably one of 3 people that actually watch these meetings because I was employed. I was a very proud employee. And at times I would see the board go into the meeting room at 7, and I'd go to bed at 10, and they're not out yet. And I told you all that I really didn't want that to happen here. It's embarrassing. But we're going to take another vote. Robert? I mean, just a quick note on my end. I wish we could have handled this differently. It's sometimes up here, it looks like a sideshow. And I don't want that. I'm sick of it.
You know, with you having said that, I would like to say that this process was decided at a time when I was in hospital with a broken back. And so I was not here to give any input for this process. And there has been criticism of others for creating policy or making requests to do things when other members were on vacation or not in attendance. And for something as important as this, had I not broken my back and been here, we probably would not be sitting here doing this right now. Because at that time, I heard from, that would have been the process. And then we appoint someone from my seat, which brings on a 5th member with a new outlook that doesn't have to lead the meetings and do all the stuff like that. So I just, it's unfortunate that this whole decision was made at a time that I could have no input. And now I feel like I'm almost shouldn't say something because I am one of the candidates for this position. But I would just like to say that it just seems like it's just, and here we are, because of making quick decisions to do whatever to shift. I know that it's power shifting that's attempting, and we all know that. Everybody can see that. And excuse me, thank you. And so I would just like to say that that this, I'm sorry that we're doing it this way, but this is the way that we need to do it at this point. So here we go.
I would like to correct respectfully you, Ms. Shippers, in that the charter is what we're following. It was no one picking a process. And the charter decides that we must pick someone for that seat within 30 days. And that has happened many times in the past. If you look back to when Gordy Boss came on the council, it went through 6 or 10 votes, maybe more, to do that. So I want to make sure the public is not given misinformation. No one picked this process. This is the charter, and this is the way it's been handled. So it's not a power shift, and that is my concern for this public, is the seat for mayor is one of 5 seats. It's no different than any of the other 5 seats. I've been very concerned, and I've voiced it in the past. It's not a seat that has ego attached to it. It is not a seat that runs our city. The seat that runs our city is sitting to the left of me, and that's the seat that needs to have leadership. And the 5 of us manage that seat, and we do it equally. So the mayor's position, and that's why the process is followed for the mayor's seat, just as it is for any other seat, that we have to fill it within 30 days per charter. Frankly, my reading of the charter, and I didn't raise this question, Ms. Shippers, says the charter specifically states that the mayor pro tem position only lasts as long as the tenure of the mayor. And the mayor's tenure has ended. And I think I could have questioned that continuing, because the mayor pro tem will then be picked by us again once we pick a new mayor. But I didn't do that because I wanted to make sure this was smooth. And I think if Mr. Engels read the charter, Mr. Ellenboth, it was clear. And if you did, it was clear. We have to pick the replacement of the mayor within 30 days. And the precedent of how this voting goes on was set well before us. So I just want to make sure no misinformation is out there.
What was not in the charter, and what I was referring to, is that, yes, within 30 days. And this date is within 30 days. And to put it out for anyone in the city to apply for us to appoint them mayor, the positions you're talking about are like who would fill the award seat. Those were the positions that were filled. And that's the process that's in the charter. There is nothing in the charter specifically for filling the mayor's seat in this situation, because I have looked and I have asked, and so this is, we are doing this in accordance with rules, but I just it all just, anyway, I'm not saying anymore.
And the last thing I'll say, if it was Mr. Ellenboss's seat, we would be looking for names from the first ward. If it was my seat, it'd be the fourth ward. The mayor's seat is the general population. It follows the same exact process for every seat. The mayor's seat is not special.
I think after this is done, if there's any way to review the charter, this could be avoided. The mayor pro tem, and the mayor's seat. I get that the mayor is just a member of council, but it's also, it means more to people, and I don't feel like we should be picking it. I'm going to make another motion for Councilmember Shippers to be appointed to the mayor.
And support.
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers,
Yes.
Allenboss.
No.
For all the reasons that Ms. Shipper just raised, which gives me concern regarding the mayor's seat, and the concern that we move forward effectively and address the problems and can start doing it as of tonight once we pick our new mayor, I would renominate Dr. Dubravik for the mayor's position.
I'll second that.
Councilmember King,
No, yes, God, yes.
Oh, wait a minute, big guy.
Yes.
Slow down, Tiger.
I don't blame
Mayor Pro Tem
Yeah.
Wait a
Shippers,
minute.
No.
Allenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls.
No.
Robert? We'll do her again. We do it until we find somebody.
Well, at this point, do we need a different strategy or a
No,
different
just
level of
keep doing it.
priorities?
We have no strategy. I wish we had a strategy, Robert. We wouldn't be here.
I mean, a lot of people I talked to were surprised that this had to happen.
Yeah, I am too.
Um,
Run her again.
I'll make another motion to nominate Councilmember Shippers as mayor then.
And I'll support that.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers,
Yes.
Allenboss,
No.
Ingalls.
No. Yes.
What? What's in the water over on that
We're
side?
getting tired. It's like,
Yes.
Steven, where are we at?
No.
okay.
Something in the water?
Yeah, no kidding.
Do you want to
I
nominate?
wish. I would go ahead, and for all the reasons stated before, I really, really think we need to put someone in that has additional leadership skills, additional ability to work with the people in the community.
I'll second that.
Dr. Dubravik.
Who? Councilmember King?
Dr. Dubrava.
Dubravik.
Okay. He didn't say. Councilmember Ellenboss?
Yes.
Ingalls?
No.
King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers?
No.
I mean, I feel like at some point there has to be a greater discussion.
Oh, I wish. Just do it, Robert.
I'll make a motion to nominate Councilmember Shippers as mayor.
Support?
Councilmember Ingalls?
Yes.
King?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers?
Yes.
Ellenboss?
No. Do I get to talk?
You could
Every
talk.
now and then I can talk?
You could talk.
I hear, geez, I'm sitting over here and nobody's, everybody's been throwing hardballs. I think I'm gonna throw a curve. I nominate Stephen King for mayor. That's different, isn't it? Didn't expect that, did you?
I'll go ahead and second that where we are.
Very good. Rattle the tree a little
King.
bit.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers?
No.
Ellenboss?
Yes.
Ingalls?
I guess before I vote, I would have to ask Councilmember King if he intended to run for the mayor spot, if he was appointed by council, if he intended to run in November.
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no.
At this point, if I take
I
that
would-
seat.
Yeah. No.
It's your turn. I used up all my ammo right there. That's all I got. That's it. One more, Robert. Come on.
I mean, I think that it's a significant improvement to have somebody that the people elected, but I make my motion again to nominate Councilmember Shippers to be appointed to mayor.
Support?
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers?
Yes.
Ellenboss?
This has got to stop. I'm voting yes.
Ingalls?
Yes.
King?
No.
Okay.
It's a flawed system, but we've got to move forward.
Thank you. We're not doing that. Thank you.
I do
Thank you.
expect you to get in touch with our water people
Yes, indeed.
and begin on that program almost immediately.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep, I'm done with it. We could have been here all night, and I told everybody when I came onto this job, we're not gonna sit here for 3 hours and take votes, 20, 30, 40 votes. I've seen it happen. I was employed here. I'm very familiar with it. It's time to heal this thing up somewhat and get moving in the right direction. Not my first choice, but let's move forward.
Okay. So now what do we do?
Oath of office.
Oath of office.
You also need to resign your mayor pro tem position,
Okay, do I do that verbally?
effective upon taking the oath of office.
Okay. I will resign my, Antoinette Shippers, resign my mayor pro tem position upon taking oath of office. And my seat as a council member for Ward 2. Ouch. That hurt.
So we should probably have then the city council accept that resignation upon the effectiveness of the oath of office and entering the office of mayor.
I make a motion to accept the resignation of Councilmember Shippers from Ward 3. Ward 2 council
Ward 2.
seat.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Ingalls?
Yes.
Ellenboss?
Yes.
King?
No.
You're the no guy now.
Mayor Pro Tem Shippers?
You guys switch places. Okay, oh, yes. I have to accept my own name.
Okay.
Now the oath.
Okay,
You would just raise your right hand, please? They want me to do this at a microphone.
yes.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the Charter and ordinances of the City of Cadillac, and will faithfully perform the duties of the office of mayor according to the best of my ability.
I will. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Let's, so if you were in Ward 2 and are interested in serving as a council member, why, I would never know, but I'm sure there are those of you out there that have wonderful ideas and are willing to get yourselves in the crosshairs. Please let us know. And that will be happening, I guess we have 30 days for that. So
Now, where are we at in the agenda?
we are at the consent agenda, the very beginning. So now I'll make the motion, or somebody.
Make a motion to
Thank you.
approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Councilmember Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Mayor Shippers.
Yes. Okay, we have some communications. Is that Sandy, is it, or,
Oh, yeah, we can just introduce Joe.
Yes.
You introduce him.
Yep. Thank you. The first item would be the introduction of Joe. Forgive me, I forgot his last name off the top of my head here.
Joe Verlin.
Thank you, Owen. Joe Verlin from Gaybridge and Associates to provide the annual audit report. Mr. Verlin, thank you, and thank you for your patience.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. And I've got a 200-page or so audit report. I don't intend to cover
We're
all.
gonna go through every page, right?
Yeah. I'm just going to hit on the highlights. I will say that it was a pleasure and remains a pleasure working with the city finance team. Does a wonderful job. Owen and his team provide us with everything that we need in order to be able to conduct the audit. And before I get into the actual audit report, one thing that I do want to point out is on page 5. On page 5, we see a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. And this is an award that the city earns. This is the 39th consecutive year. June 30, 2024 will be the 40th consecutive year that the city has earned this award. What this means is that in addition to having an annual financial statement audit report, the city puts together an introductory section and a statistical section to the audit report just to provide more information to the readers of the financial statements. It's a sign that the city goes above and beyond preparing its financials. And then they submit it. The city submits it to the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association. They review it, they vote on it. And if all of the reporting standards are met, the award is provided. And again, 39 consecutive years, 276 cities in the state of Michigan. Roughly 55 of those cities receive this certificate of achievement in excellence in financial reporting. So kudos to the staff for going above and beyond to earn this designation. What matters more than anything else in this audit report can be found on page 9. And on page 9, as I mentioned, we receive the financial statements. We work with the state of Michigan. We work with the county, various financial institutions. We confirm, verify, validate the numbers provided to us. In the second paragraph down, we write, in our opinion, the financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the city as of June 30, 2024. The technical term is unmodified. I explain it as being a clean opinion on financial statements. This is the gold standard. We can't provide a higher level of an opinion on the financials of the city. And it means that your financials are accurate, they're verifiable, your internal controls are suitably designed and effectively operating to make sure that you have timely and accurate financial statements. Always should be the city's goal to have a clean opinion on your financial statements, but certainly means something to achieve it. The next section that I take readers through starts on page 14, and this is the first page of management's discussion and analysis. This section's helpful because it provides financial highlights for readers of the financial statements. It has 2-year comparative information to give readers an understanding of the general trend and trajectory of the city's finances. And then there's a narrative explanation pointing out some of the more significant reasons for the changes in the city's finances during the past 2 years. So starting with the financial highlights, that first bullet point shows that the city ended the year with a net position of $35 million approximately. It's a theoretical number. Theoretically, if the city sold all of its assets, buildings, vehicles, roads, and paid all of its liabilities, there'd be about $35 million left over. Of course, it's a theoretical number. But what does matter is whether or not that number is increasing or decreasing. And the net position did increase by $303,374 during the course of the year. So a slight uptick in your net position. It means to the readers of the financial statements that the city's net position or financial condition improved by roughly $303,000 during the course of fiscal 24. Second bullet point down. Now we're looking at the fund balances of the city. We're looking at what are your immediate resources compared to your immediate obligations, the difference being fund balance. And I would think of this as being checkbook accounting, more or less. Total fund balance at the end of the year came in at $9.2 million. Total fund balance decreased by roughly $144,181. Biggest reason for that being street projects that happened during the course of the year. There was a transfer out of the general fund in order to be able to cover those construction costs. In the general fund, there was an increase in fund balance of $840,493. So your general fund, your most important fund, did show a healthy increase in its fund balance. And when we say an increase in fund balance, essentially it means cash into your general fund exceeded the cash out during the course of the year. And lastly, the fourth bullet point shows that total debt of the city decreased by $1,355,000. So city continues to make its ongoing debt service obligations. As a result of that, your long-term debt decreased by about $1.35 million. Next, if you turn to page 28 of the report, I printed this in the office and didn't realize until I got here that the page numbers for some reason didn't print. So I'm having to cross-reference back and forth to the table of contents. But page 28 shows the balance sheet of the city's governmental funds. These are all of your major funds. So the very first column is the city's general fund. Second column and third column are your major and local streets. All the other governmental funds of the city get aggregated together in the other governmental funds. And what I did want to point out here is if you look at the general fund, the very first column, 3 rows up for the bottom, your unassigned fund balance came in at $3,055,396. So the city has numerous funds. Obviously, the most important fund of the city is your general fund. And the most important element of your general fund is the unassigned fund balance. It's important because that's the amount the city has to cover the day-to-day cost of running the city. You can use that for wages, utilities, supplies, things of that nature. If we take that $3,055,396 and we divide it by your total general fund expenditures and transfers out, you've got about 35%. So roughly about 4 months worth of reserve funds sitting in your unassigned fund balance as of June 30, 2024. Healthy, not too much, not too little. Most of our cities have anywhere from 25 to 50%. So you guys are right in line with where we are seeing most of our cities' very healthy financial position at year end. And then if you turn 2 more pages, you get to page 30, which is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. This shows the revenues and expenditures in your governmental funds. And again, as I mentioned, the very first column shows your general fund had an increase in fund balance, 3 rows up for the bottom, $840,493. And then if you look at your major and local street funds, they each had decreases in fund balance. The very last column, 3 rows up for the bottom, you can see total governmental funds had a net overall decrease of $144,181. But the biggest reason being for that was the overall investment that the city made in infrastructure during the course of the year, all the various capital projects and road construction projects. And then really just a few more pages that I wanted to point out. If you go all the way to page 88, we get into the schedules that show the city's net pension liability for the police and fire, as well as the MERS retirement plans, and then the retiree health care plan as well. So page 88 shows specifically the police and fire pension plan, and the very last column on the right shows that during 2024, the total pension liability, according to the actuaries as of June 30, 2024, was about $16.5 million to cover the total cost to fully fund the pension for the police and fire employees over the next 30, 40, 50 years. In order to cover the $16.5 million, the planned fiduciary net position, which is about two-thirds of the way down the page, came in at $13.7 million. And the difference between your total assets and your total liability is the net pension liability, the next row down of $2.8 million. If we take your total pension assets and divide it by your total pension liability for police and fire, the city's 83% funded. And you can see that 3 rows up from the bottom. If you go one more column to the right, 2023, the city was 79% funded. So the total funding position increased by 4%, which is a good sign. And the biggest reason for that being halfway down the page, you can see the net investment income during 2024 was about $1.25 million. So a healthy increase on your pension assets in the police and fire fund, improved significantly the funding percentage. On average, our clients are about 73% funded. Not that our clients represent the entire state of Michigan, but we do take a look at that on an annual basis just to kind of get an idea for what the benchmark is. The city is about 10 points better than benchmark in the police and fire fund. Similarly, if you go to page 91, we get a look at the MERS plan for the city. And exact same layout. The top section shows the total pension liability in order for the city to cover its pension liability over the next 30, 40, 50 years. For all the other employees that are eligible, $16.9 million. And then the planned fiduciary net position, the total assets set aside with the MERS came in at $11.35 million. The difference between your total assets and total liabilities, $5.58 million as of December 31st, 2023. There's a slight time lag in the MERS valuation compared to the city's fiscal year end. So there's always going to be that gap with regard to when these numbers are reported and when they get included in the city's audit report. But you can see that the planned fiduciary net position was 67% on the MERS plan, a little bit lower than average, but still improving. That compares to 64.9% at 2022. So about a 3-point improvement, a little over 2% improvement in the funding percentage. And again, the biggest reason for that, the net investment income during the course of the year came in at a positive $1,162,421. And then the last schedule that I wanted to point out, if you go to page 93, 2 more pages, we get a look at the city's retiree health care plan. And this valuation was performed as of June 30, 2024. Again, same layout. You can see the total OPEB liability or retiree health care liability as of June 30, 2024, about 1/3 of the way down, came in at $4.9 million. And in order to cover that $4.9 million, the planned fiduciary net position is $3.9 million. The difference being the total or the net OPEB liability of $947,493. And if we take your total assets divided by your total liability, the city is at 80.6% funded. And on average, that's about double what most of our local units are funded at. So very healthy. The city did a good job of getting in front of its retiree healthcare obligations, setting aside assets much earlier than most local units of government did. And for that reason, you guys are in a much better funding position. Those are the financial highlights that I've got, but I'm certainly happy to take any further questions that council might have.
I did have one question, but now I think this was the police and fire. You said we had a increase in the funding percentage from like 78 to 81.
Yes.
But that you can see like in 2021 it was like at 97, and even 10 years ago it was like at 77. Does that just stay right there the whole time, or will that eventually when the number gets smaller grow, or will that be fully funded?
Yep. Every year the actuary, they crunch their numbers. They provide the city with an annual required contribution that needs to get paid into the pension plan. And it's an estimated number. Over the course of the next 15 years, theoretically, as long as the city keeps on making that annual required contribution, as long as the market behaves how it should, then you will be 100% funded. So it's not a perfect correlation. You know, the market doesn't behave. It's not as predictable as we might like it to be. There's up and down. There's years where, in fact, a couple years ago, the market went backwards 12%. Well, it's tough to keep things trending in that same smooth direction when the market goes backwards 12% when you're expecting a 7% rate of return. So there's some ebbs and flows to your funding percentage. Over the course of time, you will be fully funded.
Thank you.
And this report will be available online for anyone?
It has been, and
Yeah.
it's archived on our website under the Finance Department page, along with our annual budgets as well. So it's all available.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Thank you, Owen.
Okay. Next, we have some communications.
Yes, it's being recommended to approve the updated parking closure on Fridays for the Cadillac Farmers Market as presented. And I don't know if Owen, if you wanted to say something about that?
I don't need to say anything about that unless anyone has any questions.
Is
I've
this the
reached out to
same-
the neighbors there. It's a little bit different on the parking, just a small tweak. We maintain the same number of handicap spots, but we just changed where those are and where the closures happen. This was based on really my observations of the safety down there as I visited probably on 6 or 8 Fridays just to just deal with a couple of things and interact with people down there. And
And you,
those
you've been-
spots are barely used and they were very dangerous to pull in and out of. So this will enhance the safety.
You've been in contact with Ms. Galvanic,
Yes.
working hand in hand with her?
Yep.
Thanks, Ellen.
Yep.
Of course.
I'd make a motion to approve the updated parking closure on Fridays for the Cadillac Farmers Market as presented.
Support.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
Mayor Shippers.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay. Next, we have some appointments.
Yes, it's being recommended to approve the reappointment of Ken Bigelow to the Construction Board of Appeals for a 2-year term to expire on March 2nd, 2027.
I'd make a motion to approve the reappointment of Ken Bigelow to the Construction Board of Appeals for a 2-year term to expire on March 2nd, 2027.
Support.
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Mayor Shippers.
Yes. Motion carries.
Being recommended to approve the appointment of Marcy Hensley to the Cadillac West Corridor Improvement Authority for a 4-year term to expire on March 3rd, 2029.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of Marcy Hensley to the Cadillac West Corridor Improvement Authority for a 4-year term to expire on March 3rd, 2029.
Support.
Councilmember Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Mayor Shippers.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, now we're down to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The recommendation on the first item is regarding the purchase of 2 wheel loaders. We are currently coming to the end of a lease with both of these wheel loaders. We went out to bid. Bids came back incredibly high, whether it's for purchasing or for leasing, over 40% of where we're at now. And the wheel loader condition is, for both of them, they're both in great condition, and it makes the most fiduciary sense to simply buy them out, as well as buy a couple of extended warranties for them, versus turning them in and spending a lot more money either leasing or buying new units. And
Do you know where Alta Equipment is out of?
I
Owen?
don't. Do you
Yeah, they're a
know?
big company. I think we deal with one from the north somewhere.
Around here.
Yeah, they're local. I mean, our up in the Traverse City area.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you what their exact physical address is. Typically, I write that on there, but
Okay.
I have that on there.
I'd make a motion to approve the final payment of $210,000 to KS State Bank for 2 Volvo L90 loaders, and approve the purchase of 2 5-year warranties for the loaders in the amount of $11,875 each from Alta Equipment.
Support.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Ellenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
Mayor Shippers.
Yes. Motion carries. Now we are at our final public comments. I would ask once again that you write your name down and keep to 3 minutes per comment. And just as before, please let's have decorum in the room. Thank you.
I didn't plan on speaking, but I will. This is a thank you to Mr. Ellenboss for allowing healing to begin, because it was obviously divisive on the council. It's a short time. I think this will help moving forward, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Knopp again, Cadillac. These comments, I guess, will be for the 3 council members besides Ms. Shippers. So you guys had a conversation about the city charter, dated from 2024. How about we take a look at section 3.5 of that, under the organization and rule of the council. Paragraph C, a vote upon all matters before the council shall be taken by a yes and no vote and entered upon the records, except that where the vote is unanimous, it shall only be necessary to so state. No member of the council shall vote on any question in which he, probably should say she, but it doesn't, he or she, has a financial interest other than the common public interest or conflict of interest or any question concerning his or her own conduct. On all other questions, each member who is present shall vote when their name is called unless excused by unanimous consent of the remaining members present. Not just me, the several people that were outside that walked out after the actions that were taken believe that we just violated that in some form or fashion. So I don't know if Mike can chime in on that and go to the order, but from the appearance of that, you know, Ms. Shippers has a financial interest, right? She's going from, I think it's $3,500 to whatever the mayor is paid, or vice versa if it's less for her current position. But I believe that that vote should not have occurred. So I guess going forward, you know, there's people outside that were talking about recall already. I don't get it. I don't get the actions that were just taken and what we witnessed. And Mr. Ellenboss, I mean, you should have held your ground. I know you didn't want to be here for 4 hours, but if that's what it took to get something done, you know, I think you rolled over and caved for no reason, and it's disappointing.
I guess you don't know me.
We do now.
Yeah, you do.
Hello all. My name is Carla Moore and I live in Cadillac. So I'm not part of a group or anything. I'm only speaking for myself. I don't represent any other people and no one represents me. I'm just gonna get right into a little history lesson tonight. This is only the 4th meeting I've attended, 3 city council meetings and 1 LDFA, but I've watched online and I follow various news outlets and that. I have for several years. The first time I came here, I was really shocked. There were 3 people who were directly affected as patients of cancer in the audience that night that I know of, one of which is myself, one of which was a gentleman who has 2 kinds of cancer, and the other person, it's not my place to disclose their health information. I had a procedure done on January 20th, only 6 weeks ago, to eliminate the tumor. I have to wait 6 more weeks to get another CT scan to make sure that it worked. It seems to me that Marcus spends more time trying to figure out how to get more money from the citizens than he actually spends time doing any work. I was just wondering what he's done for the last 6 weeks. If he put forth this amount of effort into the PFAS contamination, it would be resolved by now. He should be ashamed of himself. He literally scheduled a special meeting on February 3rd this year to get a raise and other perks. Who does that? And then we have, you know, the water department computer missing information that's very important. It seems like more CYA instead of fixing it. And I was going to suggest cleaning house and moving forward into a more positive direction. Cadillac doesn't need 15 more years of the same thing or any more of the same thing. I'm not interested in the blame game. I'm interested in the cleanup crew. I believe exceeding expectations of clients and customers and people that you serve because that is my level of integrity. And then I had a quote, I don't remember who said it, but it kind of stuck with me. It says, circumstances may be beyond the control of man, but his conduct is his own power. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Andy Van Alst. I never felt so good coming in fourth place, right? If it was fourth place, I mean, if Sam's got the information there, 100%, I'm going to be fourth. I'm like, oh, that is how nice that was. So I'm glad. I'm glad that I wasn't a choice. I mean, I've been here. I've been doing my part, and all I could do is do my part. So I wasn't afraid to step into it either. So. And I knew that I was going to finish in the top 10. So congratulations, T.I. I think that you've been around for a long time, and why you do that, I don't know. But, you know, I have been one-dimensional. It seems like I'm one-dimensional. I'm not. I have interest in other concerns around the city, but, you know, I don't want to come off as all harebrained when I step up here and talk about stuff. So you guys have been really supportive, and where the short-term rentals have come from the beginning, and through the codification and the enforcement, and I appreciate that. I think you did your part in saving the city. So I know we've got another hearing coming up, and I'd like to, you know, see that one go down too, because I like the Babcock deal. Super happy with that, you know, and nobody ever complains about it. So are we still doing football stuff and sudden death overtime? There will be no sudden death overtime with Brian here. So I think I would have an opportunity to help. You know, I don't really like coming here, right? So hopefully, and I know you guys don't like me coming here. So, but I would like to, you know, maybe be of help with the water issues, because those are highly concerning to all of us, you know. And I think that probably is a priority over the short-term rentals. But, you know, congratulations, T.I., well deserved.
Good evening again, Art Stevens. Finish up the other 3 minutes. Couple quick things. We have a prelude, because this will be a chance, because you're in the position of power or leadership. And I've talked about that in the past. You have that option. So a little history: when Mr. Ingalls got on, there was a resignation. I thought kind of on that mindset, if you recall. I said, you know what? I've done this for 16 years. I will just fill in until the next election and let the voters decide. Ironically, Councilmember Shippers, you didn't like that idea. You thought we should get somebody, some new blood, get somebody in, so they're going to be here for the long haul. There's a switch now. It looks like a flip. So here's going to be the question of leadership or power. There was a couple people that were like, I'm thinking of running for mayor, but I don't think, they actually reminded me of this. They says, I don't think I wanted to go in and say, I'm just going to run so that the voters can choose in November, but I saw what happened to you. Question comes down now is, what about the second ward seat? We're talking about not wanting to have a power grab. So this sounds like it's going to, we had a couple people vote because of that, and then maybe that's why Mr. Ellenbaugh switched of short term. So hopefully there's people in the public. It sounds like that's a consideration. Let somebody serve. We got a couple votes probably lined up already. That let them just serve it out and let the voters decide then in November. No need to, if we do a switch then and say, hey, we're going to go back to we should get somebody in so they can be here and for the long haul. It sounds like we've got it pretty set up. So hopefully people listening might consider that as an option. In either case, we didn't hear it tonight. This is a good time to heal. I know there's different direction, and some people feel like, hey, those people should pay for those their water, but we have some opportunities for grants. I know there's people that are out searching to get those. The city's support on those would be essential. That would be one way to come together and help get funding for that as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea Lilly. About 15 minutes ago, I was sitting down eating dinner with my family while listening to your council meeting. Congratulations. I would not want to be in your seat at all, but I appreciate you stepping forward and offering more of your time, more effort for us. Us meaning me and my family, for sure. Obviously, everybody here, people who are listening, the citizens of our city. I have a 6-year-old. She's beautiful. She's got beautiful blue eyes, just like her daddy. And I have a 3-year-old son. That's why I'm here. That's why I decided to stop eating my burger and come over here. Still waiting on me, but Mr. Ellenboss, I appreciate you capitulating. I was unable to listen to that section because my phone lost reception on my way here. So I still gotta listen in on that part, but I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate all of your guys' effort to ensure that our city stays Cadillac. The health of our city is really important, and I know that you are aware of that and care about it. And I just want to add on to what Mr. Stevens was saying, that hope we continue to agree and move forward with solutions, including grants. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take any applause.
Oh, no, we said we weren't going to do that.
I can't, even me?
Even you. Especially not you.
Oh, Mr. Inappropriate?
We're not supposed to say anything.
Okay. Keep it above board.
Good evening. I'm Troy Baxter, and I just want to say thank you for your service. And I know you're not in military uniform, but you're certainly in line of fire. And you've willingly stepped into that, not because they pay you so much money, or this is the most convenient time, but it's for, I believe, the right reasons, that you desire to continue to invest your life into this city that we call home. I'm 15 years into calling Cadillac my home, and it's a good place. And it's not without its problems, for sure. And but I believe as a community, we will be able to shoulder up and overcome those issues. And it may not be the color that I want it to be, or the hue or the texture, but it will be a solution that comes together as collective efforts and minds make it what it is. So again, just want to say thank you for being willing to do what you do through the years. Some of you have gone for many years in this, so thanks.
Council, everybody, good evening again. Randy. Hey, I think we did break the city charter tonight. We need to look at that very closely. We should have also held, and the city charter specifies exactly in what order we do this in. Now, we still have lots of people still here. We needed to hash this out. We just couldn't cave in 3-1. I'm really shocked by that. But I think we should have held a special city election for the mayor seat. Now, a couple of other things is that the last meeting, the PFAS was a hot subject, and also the firing of the city manager was a hot topic, and nobody said a darn thing tonight. I believe city council showed unsatisfactory leadership tonight in their decisions, and it's a real shame that it had to come to this. The people are here. You guys get paid for this. You know, hey, let's work this out. But I think we got to check that city charter, because that gentleman's correct. And another thing, besides that, the city also turned down that former city council member that was on council for 16 years. He's a good man. I'm not going to name him, but we know who he was when there was a special empty seat for city council, and the council just blew him off. But he would have been very beneficial for the city as a city council member, and he would have hit the ground running, such as the mayor. You know, what her qualifications are, I don't know. She's a teacher, you know. Hey, you know, I'm a slumlord. You know, that's the way it goes. So anyways, the city should have held a special election for this mayor seat. This city council acted unsatisfactory in leadership performance tonight, and I'm very disappointed in that. And I don't know where all the PFAS people are tonight, and I really like you guys, but you know, bottom line is that, you know, things got to stop. Again, nobody mentioned about, and I don't want to go there, but you know, even one of the council members, and I got a picture of it, that was council member calls for possibly firing a city manager and other city directors. So, you know, we got to think about that. This PFAS situation, you know, our city manager's been here a long time, but there's always somebody to be replaced. There's somebody there.
That's your time. Thank you.
That's my time.
Ruth Ann French, 119 Marble Street. I'd like to thank the council tonight for collaborating on a tough decision. I'd like to thank you, Brian, for your willingness to collaborate and compromise what wasn't your preferred choice. That's kind of the way it is in a democracy. We don't always get our preferred choice, but we get to have a choice. And I'd like to thank you, T.I., for being willing to serve these few more months to help us solve some of these issues that are pending that we all know about here in the next section of this term of about 8 months worth of work. And also you, Mr. Ingalls, for your support of what for my benefit was my preferred choice. So, and people who go unnoticed at these meetings is the staff that actually does the work of the city. So I'd like to thank the staff for all the work that they do to keep our city strong and our finances in good order. I mean, that audit report was pretty commendable to the financial folks that, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on your name right now, that do the hard work of keeping our finances in order. And again, to Marcus, who is the overseer, or the, you know, the city manager, the person who manages the staff in that keeps our water clean, our city water clean, and our finances in good order. So thank you all, and for all your service and hard work.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, we'll move to good of the order.
I'll go. Congratulations, T.I.
Thank you.
What I'm about to say is not meant as a criticism. However, I believe that the definition of insanity is when you try to do things over and over and over and try again and expect it to succeed. Tonight, I found myself there. Mr. Ellenboss, I understand where you're coming from, but you didn't have the courage to stand up. I've been on this council serving loyally, and there is no sour grapes with what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say what I said earlier. This city is run by the city manager. Leadership has to come from the city manager. And as I have said, in relation to the issues of asking for a car, credit card, violating the charter, in relation to what happened in October, not dealing with the PFAS issue, having an LDFA that for 15 years the bylaws weren't followed when they were followed by the prior managers for every year until this manager. And I have said to this council, to deaf ears of 3 before, our mayor is gone, that there has to be accountability. And there has been no accountability. And Mr. Ellenboss, you've continued that circus tonight without having the courage to stay the course. And that's okay. And my point is that I am going to resign effective tonight based on the inability to get anything done, the inability to have 3 members of this council call for accountability. And I will say publicly, I'm scared of the potential liability as a council member at this point. Because when we support someone who has violated charter, who has violated the bylaws of the LDFA and possibly the statutes, and these are all my personal opinions, I have to be on a council that even when it was a 3-2 vote, I could move on because I thought we were trying to do the right thing. I've lost confidence in 2 of you to do the right thing because there has been no accountability to date. And Mr. Ellenboss, you helped the cause. I understand, and I am respectful. Everybody has to make their own decision. But it's insane for me to think there would be healing if I stay on because I can't stay quiet about the deficiencies of the council and the deficiency of what I feel, in my opinion, the manager has done. In my opinion, in my resignation, this manager has caused the divisiveness on council for failing to be a leader, for failing to follow up on the PFAS issue. Therefore, I think it's best. I will always fight for the city. I love the city of Cadillac. My family's here. I will continue to promote the city of Cadillac, but I feel I am ineffective based on the management of the city and the members of council that remain. Therefore, I will submit my resignation. You guys can do a motion as of tonight to accept it. I thank the city for allowing me to serve. I've been on for 7.5 years. It's a good time. I would have been up for election this fall, but I think this is best. And sometimes you have to say, people will have to stand up and say, are we satisfied with the leadership? And when you say that, it has to be first with satisfaction with the manager. We have to have a strong manager, and then a council can do their job. But when we don't hold the manager accountable, then we have a weak leader and a failure to have a leader, divisiveness on a council, and we fail to do our job. You may even get a raise now that Mr. Ellenboss flipped in his vote. With that, I thank you.
I doubt it. No. No. Even minus the negative words, Steve, I still respect you. And I thank you for the time.
And I respect you.
And I thank you for your time you spent here. And I don't want to see you go. Damn it. You hear me?
You guaranteed it.
Well, no, I didn't. That's your choice, not mine.
It is my choice. And I do it without animosity.
Please don't say
Let's
it's my
take
fault.
turns and not have, this is good of the order, so each person has their chance to speak, and then we move to the next person.
I will speak to the public then. I'm sorry to see this man go. I have a great deal of respect for him. I always have, and I always will. Thank you for your service. I'm sorry you think I lack courage, but I know I don't. I think this woman for 9 months will do a fine job. I would have preferred the doctor, but a lack of spine or a lack of courage, no, you don't know me then. And Andy, you sold yourself short. You're top 5. Not top 10. Top 5. And I'll leave you on that note. Leave them laughing, right? You got it. I hope you have a nice shot of Glenn Fittich tonight. All right, buddy?
I just want to say, you know, there's been a lot of times recently, not when I first started in the last year and a half, where I wondered why I did this, you know, and thought about the same things that Steve's thought about, whether I was effective, whether I wanted to be here, whether getting yelled at by the crowd sometimes is worth it. But, you know, I definitely don't appreciate the mayor resigning, no matter how much I understand her decision. And again, no matter how much I respect or understand Steve's decision, I absolutely do not appreciate that. I wish you were still here as a council member. I wish you would continue to fill out the rest of your terms. It's leaving us in a bad spot. We have a development that might fall through because we can't vacate an alleyway and get the 4 votes, and that's what these 2 resignations have done. So thank you for your service, Steve. That's it.
I'd like to make, if I could, one more. Look at the charter to make sure how to change it so we don't have this happen again.
Yeah, you know, a lot of jurisdictions have that ascension that you talk about automatically, right? With the resignation of the mayor, mayor pro tem becomes mayor automatically, but yours does not read that way.
Okay. Can we change that?
Yeah, you can. It requires a charter amendment, which will have to be submitted to the electors, which you can do at the next regular city.
Yeah, let's make a move on that. Let's get this fixed. We don't want this.
I had another thought, which I had forgotten, but now I remembered. When I came here to the podium in 2017, I filled out a short questionnaire about what my concerns were, about what I understood about the city budget, about what I would like to see different. You know, and I filled that out, and council took that in, and I don't know how that questionnaire was generated. But now, I guess I'm just talking to over here.
Yeah, he's not with us.
Now there's 2 seats, and I'd like it to be as simple and straightforward as possible. But there needs to be some questions.
We need to move quickly, obviously.
Yeah, but there was a maybe we can even dig up the one from 2017. It won't be that hard. It just asked me about 5 questions. Okay. It was very basic. And at the end, it even asked me if I had ever been convicted of a crime or misdemeanor, which again, as we were showing up here tonight, and I was reading the resumes, you know, without the paper vetting candidates, there were questions I have and information that was missing. So I wanted to make sure that we don't miss that information next time.
Do we want to make a motion to accept his resignation tonight?
I don't think you have to.
I'd make a motion we accept Mr. King's resignation tonight.
Effective immediately.
Effective immediately. Robert? He wants to go.
No, I'm not gonna make that motion. I'm not gonna support that.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's not effective. I'm just not gonna support that.
I don't either.
What?
I won't support it either.
Okay. Dead air.
And I have
Okay.
nothing else.
All right, well, having said that, I'm not sure where we go now, but
Well, we don't have indentured servitude any longer, so
we can't
force him
It can
to
be on the agenda for
Yeah.
the next meeting.
Yes, you can put it on the agenda for the next meeting then.
Okay.
with not having accepted that,
Okay.
are we still needing to look for somebody from his ward right away?
Well,
Or does the clock start when it's accepted?
yeah, it's not real clear under your charter.
Nothing is real clear under our charter, let me just say.
So, but I would say in order to, this is why I would prefer a motion. If you're going to accept the resignation, accept it so that you have 30 days. We understand then when that clock starts ticking for purposes of appointments.
The vacant second ward seat. When the mayor resigned, the 3 of us sat here and we made a motion and sorted out to ask for applications. So do we need to make a motion to deal with the second ward seat at the next council meeting in 2 weeks? Do we think that's enough time? And do we want to deal with that first one then, or do we want to accept this resignation and deal with both of them then, or deal with them in 2 successive meetings? My preference would be to,
The gap between?
yes, it would, but,
It would make, yes.
yes.
I think
So,
you're right, Robert.
so let's make a motion that we,
Start accepting applications.
are we gonna accept applications, or are we gonna have a, I mean, we could, is there any, we probably can't pull up the 2017 one. What if we tried to use a questionnaire similar to the 2017
Yes.
one that I used as possible?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
There was nothing
Yeah.
specific to anything going on today in that.
Mhm.
And that we asked for people to fill that out, because as Sam said, you know, you get into looking at resumes. The resume wasn't really what I was evaluating. I had, you know, it was the content of the resume. So, all right, the motion that we generate the questionnaire similar to the 2017 one, and ask for people to fill it out with a deadline of Thursday. What Thursday is going to be 2 Thursdays from now? Where's my thing?
Yeah, give me one minute. So it would be the 13th is the Thursday before the March 17th meeting.
Thursday the 13th at
And
5
if-
o'clock.
Well, I was gonna ask you if you wouldn't mind if we did it a little bit earlier in the day, that way it gives us a chance to just.
4 o'clock is what we did last time for the same reason. 4
No, we
o'clock?
did 5 before,
We did 5.
but if we
Oh,
could
okay.
maybe back it up to 3 or 4, that'd be helpful for us.
Thursday the 13th at 4 o'clock, then deadlines for the, for submitting.
Does that give you enough time, or should we say 3 o'clock?
Sandy, do you have a preference?
3 would be better.
3
Would be
o'clock.
better?
All right, the deadline, March 13th at 3 o'clock to fill out the questionnaire to
Where
be
will the
considered.
questionnaire be available? How can we make that available to everybody?
We have to blow the dust off of it, and we'll put it on the web like what we did before. We'll make it available tomorrow. If I could just get clarification, which ward are we doing this for? Are we doing it for both, or just for?
Just
for
one,
two
just
first.
for Ward 2.
Just for Ward 2.
Well, remember, I mean, I suppose then we're gonna have to decide whether or not that resignation, because the resignation was stated as effective immediately. And so if it's a 30-day, then it calls into question when you would fulfill that appointment, given your current schedule, right? Because your next meeting's on the 17th, you would accept Ward 2 by 3 p.m. on the 13th, and then your meeting after that is not until April the 7th.
Yes. That,
Which is more than
So
30 days.
is the resignation, if it isn't accepted, it is still valid?
I think it's likely still valid. Like, you can imagine a scenario in which you have a resignation effective immediately, and suppose the council never acts. I don't think we would ever take the position that it was never effective. We try and have a motion accepting it so that we have hard and fast deadlines without leaving it hanging out there for ambiguity purposes. That said, there is also case law out there that supports if you don't accept it, it could be rescinded between the time it's given and when you've accepted it.
That's right.
again, I guess it would be my preference if, to accept it on the 17th, so we could schedule the 7th meeting for the first ward, for the first ward, if that's possible. That is our preference, if that's not a violation of anything.
Is it a violation of anything?
It just creates ambiguity when the 30 days starts. Did it start tonight when it was stated that it was effective immediately, or is it going to be, does the 30 days starts when it's accepted? It's not a clear answer under the law.
So did you want to do them both in the same night?
Let's
then?
do them both. Let's
All
get
right.
it over with. He doesn't want to be here.
All right.
Make the motion.
Then I will first make a motion to accept the resignation effective tonight.
I'll second.
Councilmember Ingalls?
Yes.
King?
I can't vote.
Oh, sorry. Allenboss?
Yes.
Mayor Shippers?
Yes. Motion carries.
And then I make a motion that we accept the questionnaires with a deadline of the deadline that was previously stated, March 13th at 3 o'clock.
For both wards.
For both wards.
I'll second.
Ward, yeah,
For the second and the fourth.
second and the fourth, yep.
Councilmember Allenboss?
Yes.
Ingalls?
Yes.
Mayor Shippers?
Yes. Motion carries. Oh, boy. Yes, Marcus.
Are we, if council's done with this?
Yes, let's
I
go
just
on,
wanted to
'cause I have
mention.
something for two, but I'll wait till after.
Oh, okay. Wanted to mention that the Michigan PFAS Action Response Team held a session last week. We have a video of that session along with the slide deck that was shown, providing the latest updates, including the latest heat map information, all on our website. You can go right to the homepage, cadillac-mi.net. And find it there, or you could do a backslash and just type in PFAS resources, and that's there as well. On a related topic, the United Way has also updated their 211 phone system regarding PFAS, and if somebody calls with any question, especially for those folks that might live outside of the state's areas of interest that would not have received contact by anybody if you're on a private well, if you call 211, you will then be connected directly with their local PFAS person in the health department, they being the state, MDHHS, health department, and will have access to getting proper direction to information as to how to, get a test, where to go, and what to do if you have a detection. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank everybody for, I suppose, thanks a lot. But this, I feel daunted. I understand that when things don't go certain ways, that things just kind of fall apart. But when things fall apart, it gives us an opportunity to rebuild. So what I would request is one of you two remaining council members to join me and staff. Here's my goal, as the first thing I want to do is to create a strategic plan to deal with all of the issues surrounding our groundwater contamination issue. I want it to include community stakeholders, another council member along with myself, city staff, also experts from the state, from Eagle, from MParts, so that, and I want that plan to include not just solutions for how we are moving ahead, which, by the way, there are a lot of things that have been done and are still being done, but those have not been made explicit. People, I've had so many people say, I don't see what the city is doing. This task force, this strategic plan, part of it will be to help let the community know exactly what's going on and help people. What's happening is, here's how I see it. First of all, and I understand it 1,000%, and I hate to do that because it's hyperbole, but this is hyperbolic. People are afraid. People are concerned and afraid for the well-being and health of themselves, their children, their grandchildren. And when people are afraid, the response cannot be, these are the numbers, this is this, this is this. We cannot respond cognitively. We cannot respond with facts to fears. What we have to do is figure out what we need to do to help people who are afraid feel like they are empowered, feel like their fears are being addressed, and feel like solutions are moving forward. So I don't know which one of you guys would like to do that with me. And I would ask Marcus, I know there's some tools. You're old and tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too. Leave the off. Step up the plate, son.
Yeah, maybe, we could, I'd certainly do it.
You would do that? Okay.
Why not all three of us? Don't you like me?
We can't. We can't all three of us. It can only be two at a time.
See if you know.
I do know the rules. So that's what I would like to do. And Marcus, I'll talk to you about setting a time for that. I will get information to reach out to community members who would like to be part of that. I know there are some who have already expressed interest in that. This will not be, our first order of business will not be who should be fired. Our first order of business will be, what can we do to help our neighbors who are terrified? And that's my goal. So you'll be hearing more about that. I'll be reaching out to some people whose names are on the list. I expect I can get that from you, from people who've signed up. If you are interested in that, please email me at the city email address. That's the best way to get a hold of me. I just think it's time for us to move ahead on that and start dealing with each other's. Thank you. That being said, thank you everybody, and best of luck. And best of luck to all of us. And
Yes, ma'am.
here we go. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.